Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little kiss lock purse that you see right here. Ta-da! Inside there is a ball of yarn just to keep it in place so that you can actually see it. There you go. Now the colour combination of the kiss lock and the yarn was chosen by the wonderful Marty, one of our subscribers. He chose these colours here. I actually didn't think they would go well, but in actual fact it looks fantastic. Now I chose the design of what we've done here, which is a front loop and back loop stitch in the single crochet, but Marty chose the colours during one of our live antics. Now we have live antics every Saturday mornings 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, and we also have a live every 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon Melbourne, Australia time, but on Saturday mornings live we get to choose a subscriber, and what happens is I put a whole lot of yarn on the table and that particular subscriber gets to choose the colour combination of our very next tutorial. That is way too much fun. I'm so enjoying that. We did it last year. We're going to do it again this year. I'm just going to keep doing it. I love it. It's great. But in the meantime, Marty chose the purple on top of the pearl kiss lock. Now, I didn't think that would go well, but I'm really quite impressed. Take out the ball of yarn. I still haven't weaved in my ends. Excuse me. Don't tell them. They don't know. Hide it. So I just take out the ball of yarn and I put it in there just so that you can see it all nice and puffy, yeah? And it can stand up for us. But there you go. The stitch today is a very simple stitch. You will actually need, let's move right along, you will need some 8-ply cotton or DK weight, which is, this one is a 50% cotton and a 50% acrylic. So it's a mixture of each. You will need your hook to suit. Now 8-ply is like a DK weight or a number 3 weight overseas. You will need a 4mm hook, and today we used the 4mm hook. And you will need some sewing. First we'll do the scissors. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need one stitch marker. I used only one, but I think I used the pink, to be honest with you. I don't know what I've done with it. But anyway, you will need some thin cotton. Now, if you've got 4-ply cotton, it might go through this. I doubt it. But I actually, here's a little bit of trivia. I had bought the cotton last week. I've lost it. So I had to go out this afternoon and buy it again. I can't find it. So anyway, the cotton needs to go here. It needs to match the colour of your piece. In actual fact, you could also get away with using a pearl cotton. I would more likely use the purple, but you could get away with using the pearl if you wanted it to look the same. Now, I needed 2 sewing needles and you would too. One needle, well, you might use one, but one needle you need to weave in your ends, which yours truly is naughty and has not done yet. The other needle you need is a very thin needle that needs to be able to go through the holes or the spaces of your kiss lock purse. The other one didn't go through, so I had to use this one as well. All right, I'm not going to talk anymore because the tutorial goes a long time, but I just want to thank the wonderful Marty for his colour combination of this gorgeous little kiss lock purse. Good luck, everyone. Alrighty guys, we're going to form a magic loop or magic circle, magic ring, whatever you'd like to call it. Grab your tail end, passing it in front of 2 fingers. You grab your working end of your yarn and you wrap it around your fingers, catching it with your pinky at the back. Yeah? And what you have is a little X, or what you have formed is a little X. Pop your hook under the front loop, grab that back loop and bring it forward. So you've got your 1, your 2, and then you've got 2 threads together here. You need to grab everything like so. Try not to let go, and you've formed your little loop. Yeah. Now, you might want to grab it all into the other hand. Chain 1, which is yarn over your hook, and pull the loop through. Now, if you want, you can give that tail a little tug, not too much. Make your circle a little bit smaller. Not too much because we need to fill it up. Yeah. So in that circle, you're going to pop your hook and you're going to do a single crochet. So hook in the center, pulling a loop through like so. Let's get a close up here. Yep. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. What I want you to do is grab your stitch marker, any color, any kind, it doesn't matter, and just pop it in that stitch right there. All right. And now what you're going to do is another 7 of these single crochets, all in the center. Hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your second one. We'll talk about count in a minute. Hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's your third one. All right, so we're going to do a 4th one, 5th one, and 6th one. Oh, I almost wanted to stop counting there. Hello. 7, 2 more you've got. Oh, 1 now, and 8. I don't know why I almost wanted to stop counting at 6. Must be thinking of another pattern. All right, so here we go. The way you count your stitches is these tiny little V's that you see right here. I'll get a needle and show you. They look like V's. They've got like a little V look there. And each one has a V look. That is a stitch. The very first one is the one you're in. So that's 1, and you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last one is your stitch that you have right there, 8. All right, so what you want to do before you continue is grab your little tail end. Let's bring it out for you. You can see this part. You grab your tail end, I'll drop that, and you just give it a tug, and like magic, as the word says, magic loop, it closes up your center. Now that's not the end of the center. We're going to weave that tail in later. Don't let anyone tell you that won't come undone. It can, and it might even, because it's a bottom or the base of the bag. Or purse, I should say, not bag. It's a purse, Mary. Let's get it right. All right, in the very next stitch where your stitch marker is, you're going to put a single crochet. You're not going to slip stitch it. You're just going to do a normal single crochet in that stitch with your stitch marker. It might help to take it out once your hook is in. Pull a loop through, and you do a normal single crochet, but you pop your stitch marker back in there like so. All right, and there you go. And now you do a second one in the same stitch. You're in there, you're going to pop your hook back in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 2 in there. You're going to put 2 in each stitch, very much like making a beanie, yeah? So 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2. 2 into your next, 1 and 2. 2 into your next, 1 and 2. 2 into your next, 1 and 2. 2 into the next, 1 and 2. And we're almost there. 2 into the next, 1 and 2. And 2 into your very last stitch there, 1 and 2. Now I'm just going to lift up the loop for a minute, because we have done round 2. Round 1 was our very first round over our loop. This is round 2. Now we're going to count our stitches. If you played your cards right, you should actually have 2 8s are 16, so you should have 16 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that last one right there is your 16th stitch. All right, so it's pretty much like making a beanie in this case. All right, so in your stitch with your stitch marker, you're going to pop a single crochet. You need to pop your stitch marker back in that stitch right there. All right, and you are always replacing your stitch marker in that stitch. And this, the only reason we do that is so that we don't lose count, yeah? So you're going to pop a second single crochet in there like so. And then you're doing just one single crochet in your next stitch. And then 2 in your next. 1 and 2. 1 into the next. 2 into your next. Can you see the pattern? Exactly like making a beanie. 1 into the next. 2 into your next. All right? So I'm going to just grab some yarn there. 1 into the next. We might just pop this on fast, yeah? Or maybe not. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Let's just finish it off. 2 into your next. 1 into the next. 2 into the next. Hope I'm not going too fast. Sorry, guys. I'll slow that down. 1 into the next. 2 into your next. 1 into your next. 2 into your next. There, and then you should have 1 stitch left before your stitch marker, and you put 1 into there. All right. Now, just a quick tip to let you know, whenever we do these rounds, we are increasing by 8 stitches in every round. So if you had 16 stitches before, you should have 24 stitches now. So go ahead and count your stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, whoops, here we go, 20, 21, 22, 23 and 24 is your final stitch right there. Super easy, yeah? What you're going to do now is jump straight into that stitch marker with a single crochet. 1, taking out your stitch marker and popping it, I always put it down, I should stop putting it down, and popping it straight back into the stitch. What? Just pop it straight back into the stitch. Come on, Mary, you can do this. All right, so your second stitch goes in the same stitch that you are in, and you put 1 into your next and 1 into your next. So we are increasing on every third stitch in this round. So you go 2 in there, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 in the round. All right, so now we are putting 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 in your next, 1 in your second, 2 into your third. All right, it's very much the same. Oh, no, it is the same. I should say it is the same all the way through this round. 1, 1, and 2 into your third. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do that, but what I will do is pop this on fast for you, and I will meet you when we get to the very last 2 stitches. All right, so in your next stitch you are doing 1, 1 and then 2, and off we go. 1, 1 and 2 in there. And here we are, at our last 2 stitches. I got crochet happy. I was going to forget about coming back to you. Do you like that? All right, 1 into your next, 1 into your next, and that's it. And you've got your stitch marker right there, which is your very first stitch. All right, so remember what I said before? You would have, before you had 16 stitches, yes, in your round. Now you've got another, let's try 24 stitches in your round. Now you've got another 8. 8 and 24 is what? Let's go for it. All right, so you're counting your stitches. We'll get nice close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, and that little tight stitch in there is 32. All right, so all you need to remember is you're adding an extra 8 stitches in every round. And what are you going to do? Single crochet into your first stitch, take that stitch marker out and pop it in the same stitch you just completed. Yep. And then you're doing your second single crochet in there. And this time we are increasing on every fourth stitch. So you go one into your first, one into your second, one in the third, and two into your fourth. All right. I'm hoping that all of this increasing makes sense. Yeah. So you're doing one into your next, one into your second, one into your third, and two into your fourth. Now, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this one at all, not even on fast. But what I want you to do, you're going to head off on your own and do this, is go 1, 2, 3, and then 2 into the next. 1, 2, 3, 2 into the next. 1, 2, 3, 2 into the next. You're going to do that all the way in the round. Get to your last 3 single crochets. Don't complete them and wait for me there. And I'll tell you what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, where you should be is the last 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. We're going to finish that off, and that's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, and what you have is your normal stitch marker stitch. What are you going to do in there? You're going to do 1 single crochet, take out your stitch marker and replace it in there. By the way, you should have 40 stitches in this round that we just completed. Round 5 that we just completed because we had 32 before, and remember I said we're adding 8 in every round, so now we should have 40. All right, so I've done our 1 there. We need to do our second one in the same stitch. Remember, we always do 2 in the first stitch, and then we're doing now 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because before we were doing 3, weren't we? Now we're doing 4. And are we doing 2 in your next stitch? 1 and 2. And that's it, guys. 1 in the next. 2 into your second. 1 into your second. Hello. 1 into the third. And 1 into the fourth. And then 2 into your fifth. Don't do the mistake that I just mentioned. I'm going to keep going. 1 into the first, 1 into the second. That's right this time, Mary. 1 into your third. I'll slow down. Sorry, guys. 1 into the fourth and 2 into your fifth. All right. So I think you get the picture on this round as well. So I'm going to let you head off on your own, and you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 into the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 into the fifth. Go all the way across, get to your last 4 stitches, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, that's the end of your 6th round. Yours truly has been forgetting to mark the rounds, but I have been popping them up the top there anyway. Alright, and where you should be is have your last 2 single crochets in there, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets left. So you do your single crochets in there. 1, tighten that up, 2, 3, and 4. Now remember, if you had 40 single crochets in the last round, you should have 48 in this round. Make sure you're counting them. I'm not going to, but you can make sure you're counting them because I actually count them off air. Starting your next round, which is round 7, with a single crochet. Don't forget, pop your stitch marker in. I almost forgot then, didn't I? Oh, come on, Mary, you can do this. Okay, second one in the same stitch. What are you going to do here? 5 across and 2 into the 6. Okay, this I think should be our last repeat round, but we're going to measure it later. All right, but let's just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 into your 6th. It's super easy. All you're doing is adding that extra 1 in every round, yeah? So again, 5 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 2 into your 6th stitch, 1 and 2. I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to let you head off on your own and doing just that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 into the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 into the 6. And get ready for the end of this row for some changes. All right, head off on your own. Complete that round right there, and I shall meet you here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this round. And I asked you to get to your last 5 single crochets, and that's where we are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so what we have now is that. Grab your little piece, pop your round bit in there. All right, it doesn't exactly make it up to the corners. Let's get a close-up, but it does fit from side to side. Now, the next stitch that we're going to do is actually a stitch that can actually stretch out a little bit. It's a bit of a loose stitch, so that will loosen up a little bit. So I would actually leave it at that right now. The fact that it fits from side to side means it will fit at the end. So your job now, get excited guys, is to actually start the pattern. Get excited. And the pattern goes something like this. Actually, before we do, I'm going to show you quickly the stitches so you understand what I'm doing here. This, let's do the back of the needle, it'll be easier. This is your full stitch right there. Let's get a close-up. That's your full stitch that we usually go into when we do a single crochet. That is the front loop of the stitch right there. Yep. And that is your back loop of the stitch. The stitch is like the letter V, yeah? Front and back. What we're going to do is just that. We're going to do a front loop and a back loop stitch all the way across your round. So your first stitch will be, I might have to take the stitch marker out for this part here. So we'll take it out. And your first stitch will be a front loop only. So pop your hook in the front loop and do a single crochet like normal, but pop your stitch marker back in because you don't want to lose where your count is, or the end of the row is, round I should say. And your next stitch, you're going to find this a little tight here, is there, and you want to go into the back loop of that stitch with a single crochet. And your next stitch is a front loop, which is that loop right there, single crochet. I'm doing this close for you to have a look at. You can see the stitch right there, yeah, and you want to go into your back loop now. So it's front, back, all the way in the round. All right, so I'm not going to keep showing you this because it'll take forever. The round will take forever. What I want you to do is to continue in this manner, doing your front loop and your back loop in every stitch. Being careful not to accidentally put your front and back loop in the same stitch, yeah? In the front there, like so. And in the back loop of your next stitch, being careful not to put it in the same stitch, yeah? But there's a stitch you're in, your next stitch is there, and you face it forward, you can see the V, and you want to go into that back loop. The first round is difficult, yeah? Fiddly, not difficult, it's just very fiddly. And your next round will be a lot easier. So your job now is to do front loop, back loop, all the way in the round. Get to your very last stitch right there And I will meet you around there. You can either do it the second last stitch or the last stitch, it doesn't matter. I will meet you there and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the round. And your last stitch right there would have to be a back loop only. Now, if you ended up on a front loop there, you can't have your two front loops together, it will be noticeable. But if you ended up on a front loop there, then your count is off, yeah? So really, it should be a back loop, and it actually will be quite tight there, like that. So do your back loop. Yeah, and before we continue, you need to take out that stitch marker for your first stitch. If you like, I'll show you that in a minute. Once you take it out and we do our single crochet in that front loop, like that there, you could actually pop your stitch marker in your front loop to remind you, and then at the end of the round, you can actually pop your hook in. But I find it stretches the stitch a little, so I'd rather keep it through both loops. But again, if you want to keep it in the front loop, you can. Just to remind you that that will be a front loop, yeah? So you've got your front loop, and you'll always start with a front loop, and then what you're going to do is go right into the back loop. And then again, into your next stitch, front loop. It will start to become a lot easier now, yeah? Back, front, back. The next round will be even easier. Front, and that's a tight stitch there, but you have to get in there. Make sure you're getting into, and actually, if you wanted to have a careful look, you'll be able to tell which one will be your front loop. Your stitch in your back loop will be sitting slightly backwards. Your stitch in your front loop will be sitting slightly forwards, yeah? So this is going to be a front, right there, and the one sitting further back will be your back, and that's how you remember it. You can't tell too much with this. I am actually using purple, which is a little difficult, but that is the colour combination chosen by our subscriber, Marty, as I mentioned earlier. Now, where am I? Front loop, hello. Front loop, oops, and back loop. Oops, right there. All right, so I'm sure you're getting the picture. What I want you to do is turn your little guy over, because I want to actually weave this end in before we continue. When we did it last time, I think I might have weaved it in too late. I'm not sure on the last one. Oh, by the way, there's the other one we made. If you haven't made this one here and you want to make this one, I'll leave a link to this particular Kiss Lock purse in the description box down below. That is just a single crochet stitch. There's nothing too fancy about it, but believe it or not, it was one of my favourite tutorials of last year, or the year of 2022. All right, so let's get on with what we're doing here. So you can actually make that one. It's a lot of fun, and just you can do that in front of the TV, the other one. Thread your needle. All right, so thread your needle. What you need to do is sew in your thread in the round once, and then go back the other way a second time, and then it won't come undone. So give it a big tug first to make sure that center is closed. And what I'm going to do is go the way the thread is going, which is this way first, and then on the way back, I'll go the other way. Just make sure you can't see your needle from the front. Yeah, so that's good. Pull that. Oh, it's really tight. But it's only because it's cotton, and I'm, you know, a very tight crocheter, and this is just not going to go through. Oh, it isn't. There you go. Make sure you check the front. Yes, 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 check the front. You're thinking, well, it's really tight. It's not going to come undone. No, but these magic loops and center stitches that you make, they actually can come undone. Okay, they can. That didn't go through much. But we're going to go back in the other direction. Try not to go in the same stitches you came into before, or you will be unraveling what you just did. Yeah, but just pick a couple of different stitches here and there. It's on the inside and will not be noticeable, but just make sure you can't see it from the front. I think that's plenty. Yeah, plenty. Give it a cut. And now the only tail you need to worry about is the one you're going to use at the end. How cool is that? Unless, of course, you have a knot. Hopefully you don't have a knot in there. Now, I can't for the life of me remember what we were up to. Was it a front or a back? We were in the back loop. Yep, hello. Okay, we can continue your stitches. Front and back. Front and back. So it's exactly the same in the round. Guess what you're going to do now? This is the exciting part, guys. This is the part where you need to head off on your own and do your 2.5 million rows. Okay, so your rows are going to be done until you get to the size of your purse, whatever that may be. Now, I'll give you the amount of rows that I'm doing so you understand, and then you can do exactly that. Later, we'll measure it up with our piece, and if you find that you want yours a bit longer, you can do yours a bit longer. If you want yours shorter, you can do yours shorter. But the amount of rounds I'm going to do is 16 rounds. Once I've completed my rounds and you've completed your rounds, we'll meet back here and we'll talk about how we're going to attach our little piece to our latch. All right, so go ahead and continue your rounds for as many rounds as you like. I'm going to do my 16 rounds and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are. When you get to the end of the round, you should have your back loop stitched there. And what you're going to do here now, instead of doing back loops and single crochets, all you're doing is slip stitching into the stitch that had your stitch marker. Pull that loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, pull up a loop, giving yourself a little bit of a tail for weaving in. Oh, nearly knocked off the frame there. Give it a cut. And grabbing your sewing darning needle, well, actually pull that through first. Hello. Yep, pull it through. Grabbing your sewing darning weaving needle, like so. Yep. And this is the inside of your, this was the outside the work that we've been working on. What you want to do is turn it inside out. Oh, I'll show you what I just did there. This is where we were. Yeah, we pulled our thread through, we made a knot. Turn it inside out. And going along the area where you just cast on, but you might find that it's still a little bit of a dip there. So all you need to do is just find, let's bring that up nice and close. Hello. Just find your little stitch right next to it and pulling your needle through the back loop only, just pulling it through the back of your work. And this is inside out now, yeah? So you're working on the inside of your work and just find some stitches anywhere you like to weave this in. And you're splitting the stitches, make sure, oh, look what I can see. I can see the needle. Don't let that happen. Take it undone and do it again, all right? So making sure you can't see your needle from the front. And all I'm doing is finding some stitches at the back. There you go, no needle in the front, beautiful. Just pull the loop through, like so, and your knot disappears, yeah? And it's in there, and don't stress too much because this is the area that's going to be tucked in to the side of your purse, yeah? So you won't see that anyways. So keep going back in the other direction now. It's like as if you were doing normal weaving, which you are. And I'm going right through to the stitches, and that's no good. Here we go, that's better. Turn around, check it. Hello. And just pull that loop through. You can continue if you like, but I think that's perfect. And it is on the inside. Give it a cut. Fairly close to your work. Don't cut your work. Don't cut your work. And I was out of frame a bit there. But all you saw me do was cut anyway. So that's all right. So keep the knot in the area where you are going to pop it in the center of your frame. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the meantime, what you have is that. All right. Now you needed to decide before you cut your work, by the way, whether you want it, I should have said that before, whether you want it bigger or smaller. I'm happy with that. And in fact, let me grab my other one, which is here. And there it is. It's actually a tiny, tiny little bit bigger than the red. Tiny, tiny, because I think I did 15 rows in the red. And I did it bigger on purpose because this stitching, it comes a little bit shorter because you're going through back and front. So you're dropping your stitching down. I wanted to do it a little bit bigger. All right. So that's that. Now, grabbing your frame. Now, this is the fun bit. Also, you need to grab a sewing needle that you can, let me get a close-up for you, that can fit through these little holes right here. All right, it's got to be able to get through. Now, if I was to use this one, watch this, it can't get through. All right, so you must have a sewing needle thin enough to get through that gap, all of the gaps really. Right there, it's perfect, yeah? All right, so grabbing your sewing thread. Now, you need some sewing thread for this part here. Unless you've got a 4-ply or a light 2-weight thread, you can use that as well, so long as it fits through these little gaps. Again, it's always about the gaps, yeah? Always about the gaps. All right, so take enough thread out. I don't know what you want to do. If you want to make it, think about it, if it's 32 centimetres in the round, yeah, you want to get roughly 32. Even though it'll only go this way once, you'll be going back this way again. You'll be doing it twice. So it'll be 32 on one side and 32 on the other. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If you need to re-thread and grab some more thread, it doesn't matter. So either way, I'm going to thread this off air because it's so thin and I can't even see it through the lens. So give me 1 second. So grabbing your piece and your work, this is the right side, yes, and there's my little knot right there. That goes here. Now the idea is to actually push your piece into the frame as much as you can. Now this will loosen. It will, and your job is to just keep forcing it in. I hope that helps. And just keep forcing it in. You can use a pen if you like, the back of a pen, not the pen opened. You can use a thinner crochet hook to force it in. You can use a letter opener. Just don't push too hard on it so it doesn't rip into your work. Yeah. Keep pushing all the way in to your piece until you get to the other side. Back to the other side, you'll hear. See, some of it will come undone. That's okay. We can sort that out later. But just to get you started, making sure that you can actually work through the piece. Yeah? And you'll find with this one is a lot loose, or a lot more loose, I should say, than the red one that we had, because the stitching is thicker. All right, so you've got it all pushed in, grabbing your needle and thread. Remember, we did not knot this, yeah? So just find a little space where you can go right through, a little space right there, where you can go right through your work and the actual frame. Pulling it through, not all the way, because we're going to need this thread to sew up later. So just turn it around a little bit and back into the frame again and back through to your work. Now mine's come loose completely, but that's okay. I'm going to readjust it now. But in the meantime, oh, I've pulled it too tight. I'm going to take it a bit more down a bit. Yeah, that's going to happen. Sorry. Sorry, guys, that's going to happen. All right, so we're here. Yeah, so where are we? We're right there. We want to go directly into that. Now, being careful, we've already done that, so we want to go into the next. Being careful not to miss a stitch. What have I done here? Oh, I haven't pulled it through. Hello. Thank you, Mary. Come on, get it right. Where am I? Oh, let's try that again. I'm not even in the right spot. So go into the very next stitch and then way over to that little space. The very next space that you need to get into. Oh, am I gone too far? I've gone too far. We want to get into that one there. Might pay, put your finger there. I don't know. What's the best way of doing this? The finger's there. I don't know what the best way of doing it is. It's no good doing this on air, on the camera lens, because it's hard to see what I'm doing through the lens. So maybe we need to do this off air. Yeah? Go straight into your next space and straight into the very next stitch for now. So the whole thing's come undone. Can you believe it? Don't worry about it. Keep going. It will adjust itself. It will, I promise. They're thinking, no way. So just get into the next stitch and the very next space. Once we get halfway around, it will kind of adjust itself. It will. They're thinking, no, it will, I promise. Don't buy a used car from this lady. Bomber through that stitch there. I mean, through that space there. I'm going to pull it through first. And then find the stitch to pull through. It's only because I'm struggling to get it through everything. It's just the first corner. Once that corner's done. She's saying all these promises, but it's not happening. All right. So what you want to do is to adjust it now while you've gone through the corner. Yeah. On the way back, we're going to come through and reinforce that area anyway. So don't stress. That will be reinforced. They're thinking, no way. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no idea. She hasn't got a clue. So just find the very next space, and I've missed it. Find the very next space. Did I get it? Oh, I got it now. All right, I think we better do this off air, guys. Continue to do yours. Don't you love it? Continue to do yours. Get to this side only. All right, take your time. Take your time doing it. Get to this side only, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty, guys, here I am at the end of this round. Now, when I say the end, I just mean where this particular circle is, the very last one. I went through the back of the second last one there, and now I'm on to my last one. It was fiddly, it was awkward, but hey, it doesn't matter. Okay, so straight into that very last space there. Once you bring this one through, it's not done yet. Because looking at the back, you can only see if I can get it close up. There you go. You can see gaps in between each one. Yep. So what you want to do is redo those in. Push everything in like so. Yeah. And start your heading back the other way. All right. So push it through. Mine kept doing this. I don't know if yours did. But it kept getting caught on that little, the kiss lock part. I don't know about yours, but mine did. All right, so just keep doing that. Now you want to get into, not that one, you want to go into there. Making sure you've pushed your piece right up, because mine came undone there. You're going through and going back into the opposite side, making sure your piece is pushed right up. Yeah, and you're going into, I'm using my finger to guide me, into there, right? And into the opposite side. I don't know if that went through. It didn't feel like it, and it didn't. So I'm going to push it right up. Did it go through this time? Just, only just. And giving it a big tug. And it's still... Yep, there you go. Giving it a big tug. And then right into the next one, right there. I think you know what we're doing here, but make sure everything is up. And there you go. All right, so I don't think I need to show you this part. So what I want you to do is keep going all the way, get way back over here to this area here, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with the rest of the thread. All right, head off on your own, complete the rest, get to this section here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this side. Now remember, we have a loose thread here, yeah? So what you want to do is, I've got the second last space to fill up, which is, mine kept getting caught on this little kislop thing, which is right there. So pop it through like so. Make sure it's gone through all thicknesses. I don't think it has. So push it right up and make sure it goes through all thicknesses, which this time it has. Hope I wasn't out of frame there, but it doesn't matter. You should know what you're doing. You're just going through the very next space. Really, that's it. Now, before you do anything else, you turn it over. You grab the tail end of this one, two tails there, and you knot your piece like that once. And you knot your piece like that twice. And then you're going to weave in the end. I'm going to show you how to do this one. Oh, if I could get it unknotted. And then you're going to add another thread and do the opposite side. But let's just weave this end in. Now you can weave this end in. You know what we might do? I was going to say we might leave it, but it's probably better for us to actually weave it in now. And that way it's done. Yeah. So what you might like to do is, oh, I'll drop my pin. Needle is going into some of the ends on the inside and just weaving it in like that. Make sure you can't see the needle. Doesn't matter too much because this is that thin cotton and it can't be seen from the outside. Yeah. And just, you're splitting the yarn here. Yeah. Split it. It's okay. Just remember though, once you do this, you know, might struggle to get that undone. So once you've gone one way, go back in the other direction, like so. Yep, like that. Not too tight, because otherwise once you loosen it, everything will come undone, yeah? And then you're going to go back in the other direction again. So you've gone through once, up once, and back down again a second time. And that's it for this thread. You don't need to do any more. It has been knotted and it has been weaved in on both sections. You're going to do the same for this needle, for this thread here. It's going to be a little awkward for you to thread because there's two threads, but actually I find it a lot easier to thread, which is really weird, but I do normally. I might have to do it off air. Oh no, there you go, that worked. Thread your piece and do exactly the same, but weave it somewhere else. You can go across to here if you want, into the very next section. Yeah, like that. And then just weaving down that way into your piece. All the way down. Whoops, don't pull so tight. I just did, and I just pulled it through. And I'm going to have to rethread. Don't pull so tight, guys. Don't pull so tight. All right, so what I want you to do, in fact, I'm going to leave that. You keep weaving it through there, back there, and then back again. I'm going to leave it for now. I'll do that off air so you don't have to wait for me. But now is the time where you need to do the opposite side. And with the opposite side, you're going to find this a little bit loose. So you really have to work on pushing it through. Like that. I did actually find the opposite side easier on the red piece than I did this side. See, already it's sort of sitting in there, yeah? And it was a lot easier for me to work with, yeah? Anyway, what I need you to do is grab your thread, and I'm going to weave mine in. I'm going to thread mine off air. All right, which I've done, okay? So make sure you've doubled your thread again. Yeah. Now, like I said before, it's going to be a lot easier this side. So just pop your piece like that. It will be a lot easier. Make sure you've got enough for your purse to close, yeah? Don't make it too tight and don't make it too loose. All right, so just find a stitch there. I don't know if you want to leave 1, 2, 3. I think I left 4 stitches. It doesn't matter, yeah? You can leave more, you can leave less. As long as your piece is not loose or tight in any way, shape or form. So pull your thread through. Remember, you are not pulling it through all the way because you need to be able to, I don't know what I've done here. Let's do that. You need to be able to sew that in later. So leaving a bit of thread there. Right into the very next stitch, which is there. And your next space and your next stitch, so to speak. Yeah? And pull it through. Now, I don't think I need to show you this. All I want you to do is repeat what we did on this side to this side. But this side, making sure you even it out. Even if you've got too much, go through the second stitch rather than the first. When you come back, you can fill up the gap, so don't stress too much. Or stretch it out if you don't have enough to fit in your piece. But I think ours is perfect. It's just a little loose because the stitch is loose, yeah? All right, so head off on your own. Continue doing your in and out. Get to this side here and I'll meet you there once you're done. Don't leave too much there, yeah? All right, head off on your own. Continue doing that and I'll meet you right there once you're done. Alrighty guys, I found that side so much easier, yeah, so much easier. Now I still have, I should move everything out the way, shouldn't I? I still have one more space to go through to get back around. Oh, that went straight through, like that, so much easier, yeah? Once you do that side, guess what you're going to do, which is, this is going to be even more easier. You're just going to go back the other way, exactly what you did before. And again, like I said, this way will be easier because you already have it in place. So there you go. All right, too easy. I think I've gone through the wrong space. Don't look now. I've gone through the wrong space, so I'm going to fix it up. Shh, they didn't see that. Right there. All right, so just keep going all the way along. Get to the other side. And I'm not going to keep watching you, let you watch me do it. Get to this other side right here and make sure you're keeping it all in place when you're doing it, because this is a little bit loose because of this thread we've got dangling. And I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this side and I have one more to go, which is right, make sure it's all in, right there. Alright, now did you notice that this side was so much easier? Yeah. Alright, so we're inside here at the moment. So remember what we did before? We grabbed the other tail like that. Oh, wherever it is. Hello. Here it is. No, it's not going to work. Let's try it again. Oh, I've pulled too much through. But when you grab the other tail, just hopefully you didn't pull as much through as I did. We are tying it in a knot. Yours shouldn't be this difficult if you've left a nice long tail. One, and one more. That didn't work. Anyway, tie it in a knot properly and weave in the ends. I'm just going to keep weaving in these ends. You don't need to. You can tie yours in a knot properly. Can I do it again? I might be able to do it again. Hang on, I might be able to do it again. The ends are way too small. See that one there? Way too small. Oh, it's not too bad. I got it. There we go. Now we're in. All right. So what are you going to do again, guys? You are going to weave this end in anywhere you like. Anywhere. Making sure it's not, you can't see it through the other side. Perfect. And we better fix these ends up later. Well, you don't. I will. I made an absolute mess with mine. Hopefully yours isn't as messy as mine. Oh, it's because I pulled too tightly on this thread in the beginning, and now the ends were short, and we don't want them short. Okay, so just doing that, like that, in there. Don't you love it? It gets caught on everything, everything. All right, so I'm going to go back down again in here. You don't need to if you don't want to. Oh, I went through some thicknesses. Don't go through any thicknesses. Keep them light. All right, that's it. I'm done for this one. So I'm not going to thread mine and watch you do it. Watch me do it. I'm not going to let you watch me do it because that's going to take me forever. So let's just assume that I've already threaded mine. Shh. I've already threaded it and I've already weaved it. It's all weaved and tucked in. Shh, they won't know. Yeah? Tuck it in. All right. So now is the big test. Let's fill it up. Now the other bag I had put in cards and everything. We're not going to do that. We're just going to pop in some yarn. Oh, look at all these things I can fit in my purse. Let's close it up. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Check it out. Now this is the other one. How interesting does this look? They almost look the same, but see how they've got the lines here? That's your front loops and back loop pieces, yeah? Front loops, back loops, front loops, back loops. And you notice that this one here is a tiny little bit bigger, but only by one row, or one round, I should say. I did it a little bit bigger because the stitching I was worried about, so I did it a little tiny bit bigger. All right, so there you go. Thank you very much for joining me here at Wow Crochet Designs. Make sure you weave in all these ends, yeah? And a very special thank you to the wonderful Marty for his colour combination for our gorgeous project today. Let's get a close-up for you so you can have a better look at it. So very, very special thank you to the wonderful Marty. Now, if you wanted to be a part of our colour choice, and you wanted to choose your colour combination for the very next project, then you need to join us at 10 a.m. Saturday morning, Melbourne, Australia times. And that's when we have our lives. And we do a thing called Live Antics, and all the yarn gets laid out on the table, and you as a subscriber gets chosen to pick the colour combination of our very next tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and do all the wonderful things that you guys always do for me. And all I want to say right now is enjoy your gorgeous little Kiss Lock purse. Thanks again, Marty, and ciao for now.